Hi, I'm Amy Jo from the Jasper Du Bois County Contractual Libraries, and we are at Rose Island, and this is part of the Charlestown National Forest, and we are going to take a live trip of the old amusement park here. This was Rose Island, and it was a live and thriving park during the 1880s to the 1930s, and what shut them down was the Great Depression. And right here is just a little bit about where you'd ride the steamboats from Fern Grove, and this is a short little trail, and it's about 0.9 miles, so we hope that you enjoy the walk along. We do have our face mask just in case we do come in contact with anybody. I do have my partner in crime today, Miss Aspen, so we hope that you enjoy this walk. It was, like I said, an old amusement park that is now abandoned. This is supposed to be an easy walk, so we just thought we'd get out and get some fresh air today. Sun was out, and we were stuck inside doing this e-learning, learning how to do that. As the weeks go by, it gets easier. Oh, don't worry about that. Sure, you can run. Burn off some of that energy. I don't know about the rest of you, but I've really got out of shape. So people used to come to the Rose Park, or Rose Island here, for lots of amusement, laughter back in the 1880s, and this was a thriving park until 1930s. Down in Charlestown, Indiana. As you can see, not many people are here, which is nice. Should have let her get her bike out. As we continue down the trail, we still aren't seeing very much of any amusement park yet, but it's still beautiful out. The trail's nice, and still no people. And Miss Aspen still forehead tumbling and twirling as if she is at the amusement park herself. Still moving along. The air is crisp. It smells like it has rained down here, which we didn't get back home. But the air is crisp and fresh, and you can see from the ground that it's wet. We don't have our mask on, but we are approaching people, so it'll probably be about that time to put them on. But we probably should be mushroom hunting, because it would be idealistic to find some great mushrooms right now. Put your mask up. Proper use. Look here.
That was the easy part. Coming down.
I bet. We're about ready to go back up it as soon as... The dog was trying to eat you. I doubt it. She's such a character. But live video can be so much fun. But we're getting ready to cross the bridge that the steamboats would load off. They would stop and get ready to come across and come to the park.
Mommy, is this bridge
Here we are. I'm sure that a lot of upkeep has been done to it over the years to maintain it.
Is there water down there?
Let's see what it says here. Travel back in time on Rose Island, a link to the past. As you tour historic Rose Island, imagine crowds of visitors enjoying this bustling summer playground in the 1920s and 30s. Discover how people traveled to the park and visit the places where they ate, slept, and played. It says all aboard for Rose Island. The Portersville Bridge to the right, which was relocated to the site in 2011, provides convenient access to Rose Island today. But in the 1920s and 30s, it was not so easy. Visitors arrived by a ferry or steamboat at the boat landing at the opposite end of the amusement park. Did you know piers from the Subvention Bridge can still be seen along 14 Mile Creek? Can you spot them? Let's see. Yeah. So this is the bridge. Well, let's look. I don't know. That's why we're taking a live tour. Ooh.
What happens if it just fell down?
What?
What happens if it fell down?
I would blame you.
I blame you.
I blame you. I'd say you were tumbling on it and caused it to fall.
No, thank you.
Over there's the Ohio River,
If you drop,
and that's where the steamboats would come up through here.
Mommy, I want it before you, like, showing it down there, you might drop your phone.
Let's hope not, crazy. I don't wish no bad omens on us. Let's keep going. Let's get to the park. So excited.
There's a park?
Yes, it's an old abandoned amusement park. That's our goal, is to get there.
So, like, there's actually a play park?
No, we can't play. Everything is, we're not allowed to touch things, remember? Because of the coronavirus. It's Rose Island. We're there.
I'm gonna wonder what it is.
Well, you stop right there because there's people there. And we are here. Rose Island.
Are you gonna read that all?
What?
Are you gonna read that all?
No, we won't read it all. We're just going to do a little virtual tour for the library for those at home today.
Are you gonna put this on Facebook?
Yes. Rose Island says welcome. And there is just a little timeline. That was a big one. The flood, 1937.
What? There was a flood?
Hey, don't touch. My goodness. Let's walk on through here.
This was abandoned.
Yes, it was abandoned. The Great Depression is what shut it down.
Maybe I have to put my mask on.
Yeah, put your mask up. Thank you for doing so.
Mom, look.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what all rides were once here. If it's anything like what we have today. Looks like maybe an oat water fountain or something. I'm not sure.
That way?
Huh?
Which way are we going?
Well, let's go this way. We can walk all around in here. Looks like a trail that way. Where rides once were. Or maybe we can vision whatever we want was
Mom,
here.
this has got bagel.
Huh?
Bump it like this. Bagel.
Sorry.
We might have to remove it.
Well, we should put a bandage on it.
Right?
Look at this.
Oh, Pat, look at that.
Oh,
I can't believe
this is what people used to walk through whenever they would enter. How cool, sis. I wish they'd have like little plaques of what was here. It's the walkway. Walk of the Roses, it said. So these maybe were filled with roses. We can imagine it was. Look, this is where the dance hall was. See, they have these little Rose Island Dance Hall, dancing the night away. A perfect ending to a perfect day for a guest at the Rose Island Resort. An evening in the dance hall was the perfect end to a summer day. While live music played, couples waltzed and tangoed across the dance floor. By the late 1920s and the early 1930s, new dance crazes such as the Lindy Hop and the Charlestown emerged. Flappers in fashion, young men and women of the 1920s put their own stamp on style. Ladies with short, bobbled hairstyles, close-fitting hats, short skirts, and long beads were called flappers. Men in raccoon coats carrying yokes were dubbed sheiks. How cool. Stop it touching everything. And then
there's another sign.
this is like a walk back in time.
It's not the picture.
An enormous dining hall.
This should be a dining.
On the menu, fresh eggs, milk, butter, and cream were supplied by the Rose Island Company, which owned hens, a herd of Jersey cows, and dairy. These abundant farm fresh dairy products were a luxury for many of the city dwellers who visited Rose Island. Just little tidbits. Look at the little flowers. The fresh air.
I got caught.
That's all right. Rose Island Cottages, a home away from home, a charming summer home with porches overlooking the Ohio River. 20 quaint cottages were available for rent as summer homes, set just 100 feet from the river. The 4-room bungalows were charming and comfortable with a fantastic view. Do you want to walk this way? Off on one of these little trails since people are coming that way? We're not going to get lost. It says cottages. Flood of 1937. And the flood must have came up here and probably took out these cottages because I can remember my grandma telling us stories about how high that flood got. She actually lived in Louisville. She came up from Arizona, and I'm not sure what year she moved up to Louisville, but I remember her dad working on the railroad. And it was around that time, and she talking about that big flood. But this is the Ohio River. This is what separates us and Kentucky. And them cottages were probably built along here, and whenever that flood happened, it took all the cottages that were a part of this Rose Island out. Sad, actually. They must have tore down like even the remains, like foundations and all.
Mom, there's no fish in that water.
Well, of course there is. Probably lots of fish. With all that rain that we just had yesterday, probably fish of all kind. Think there's alligators in there?
No.
What about crocodile?
No. And no sharks.
No. Them are
But there is in Texas.
well, them are saltwater animals. Saltwater fish. Yes.
This was a chapstick.
Chapstick? My God, I do not smell chapstick on this.
I do. I smell like water mixed with chapstick.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I smell sand.
This child of mine does not smell chapstick. It says, Rose Island Amusement Park, the summer highlight, from a child's point of view. A day trip to Rose Island Amusement Park was easily the high point of the summer for many children. Decades later, every detail of the adventure is vividly recalled. After enjoying your picnic lunch, you had all day to enjoy the amusement and the activities. The departure whistle sounded at 4:30 and the boat departed for Madison at 5 p.m. We danced all the way home. We would be back at the Madison Landing in time for the steamer to carry out the moonlight excursion from Madison to Carlton and return. Recollection of Louis Descartes, Jefferson County resident. The boat left the Madison Landing at 8 a.m. My mother would be up at 4 a.m. the day of the trip, frying chicken and making potato salad for her picnic basket. When the boat arrived at Rose Island, we scrambled up to the park to get the picnic table. The boat would arrive at Madison that morning around 7 a.m., her whistle blowing and Kellogg playing songs like Somebody Stole My Gal. A Dixieland band was aboard to accommodate the dancers, of which there were many. We danced all the way to Rose Island. As we neared the entrance to the park, the captain blew the landing whistle, and the Kellogg never stopped playing. The whistle would send shivers up and down your spine. If you were nostalgic, you would get tears in your eyes. We've talked a little bit about the Great Flood of 1937. So here's a little history about it. 70% of Louisville was underwater, flowing weeks of heavy rains. The Ohio River swelled over its banks in the Great Flood of 1937, ranging from Pittsburgh. The flood was considered one of the most powerful of the 20th century. Louisville was the hardest hit among the Ohio River cities. The end of Rose Island. The Great Flood of 1937 destroyed Rose Island Amusement Park, covering it in 10 feet of raging water through the park was closed when the flood occurred. Rose Island never reopened. The Weather Bureau reported the flood damaged in Kentucky alone was $250 million, an incredible sum in the 1930s. So, as me and Aspen finish our tour of Rose Island, we hope that you enjoyed this little 20-minute tour with us. And we hope that each and every one of you make your way down to Charlestown someday and get a chance to tour Rose Island for yourself. It's definitely a place of history, and it's definitely a place everyone should get a chance to come visit. And thank you for coming out with us and the Jasper Du Bois Contractual Library today. Y'all stay safe and don't forget to wash some hands. Thank you. Bye-bye.